Hello everybody. Today is our second day under saddle. So I have started out with Sable as we usually do, lunging her, walking and trotting, and in a good 10-minute walk, warm up, and then a little bit walk trot, lunging without side reins, as you may have seen in some of the previous videos. And so now I just got on, literally just a moment ago. And all I'm doing is letting her feel my weight and my legs, very sort of almost exaggerated. I'm going to take them on and off a little bit, and very lightly on only, because that is the main issue that we're having, or that we used to have. So at this point, I'm just going to let her feel me. I'm in shoulder to shoulder mode, meaning my shoulders are following her shoulders as I'm trying to make myself as much of a cabinet in my upper body as possible without being too tense. I'm sitting a little bit more loosely than I might in a different situation. And I'm also very, very careful that I'm tilting my pelvic area, my pelvis back, so that I don't sit right on top of my spiky seat bones. And right now, all I'm doing is saying, hey, how about a little bit of a regular rhythm with relaxation? That's always the baseline of everything that we want to do together. And so far so good. She hasn't stopped. She's swishing her tail a little bit, but that could also be due to the quite enormous amount of flies we have during this season of the year, which are, and they're kind of undeterrable or undeterring, or however the word is. They're not deterred by the amount of fly spray that we're using, so we just have to deal with it. And so here we are. I'm just going to undulate a little bit with her, shoulder to shoulder, go a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. And every time I feel her be a little bit, stagnant or hesitant, I might, touch the reins just a little bit and make her either change directions or, put her onto a smaller circle, because it's easier. At that, and this is a very nice sign that she's stretching forward downward. It's easier for me to keep her in this very beginning stage of her and me exploring our movement together here. It's easier for me to keep her moving on a smaller circular shape right now. And that's not maybe true later on when we're in the trot or in the canter, but in the walk, the way I look at it is I have a way of kind of gently but firmly saying to her, now we're moving, now. And I don't give her a long opportunity for a straight line, where she might after a while get sort of bored and not watch where she puts her feet and stop just because she can. So here I am going again to the left, and I can feel a little bit of this very slow movement underneath me that, ideally at some point I would love it to be a little bit more engaged. But you could see probably, I don't know how well from all the different angles, but I am just taking legs off, on, swinging on and off with my legs as her torso swings back and forth left to right anyway. So she always has a little bit of air in between my leg aids. I never keep my legs on very long, and that is intentionally the case on this day today, because I don't want her to find even the slightest little moment where, she could say, oh, that's too much. I don't want that. I'm going to push back into that, and right now she's just moving, walking, stretching. I'm turning my inside shoulder a little bit as we're going onto these smaller circles here. I'm going to turn her to the other side, swiveling her with my right shoulder, going back a little bit more than my left shoulder. And you can still see how, she's thinking about it. Her ears are not completely relaxed. And now I'm going to give her a little break. Breathe out, increase my knee pressure, and say thank you. That was a really, really nice long stretch of us moving in sync, in a regular, very slow, but still a regular and fairly relaxed rhythm. And I just want her to understand that that is all that I wanted right now. And we'll stand here for a moment. Not too short, not too long. You know, you have to gauge that with your own horses when you have situations like this. If you stand for too long, they may fall asleep and tune you out. But watch when I start to ask for the first step forward again. I'm going to take my left rein and I'm going to say, hey, here, how about going a little bit to the left? Legs off and on. And then she's like, oh, I'm not sure. Swishing her tail. Now I'm going to go to the right again. And as I'm going to the right, I'm starting to hold my right rein a little bit more constantly, asking a little bit more with my inside leg. Not harder or longer, but a little bit more quickly and vibrationally active. And I'm holding the inside rein, and there's my release. And this is the first beginning of her yielding to my inside aids. And there are other videos where you can look that up, what that means really. But in this situation, since we are taking it so slow and breaking it down, I'm taking the inside rein, outside rein. If I go to the left, my inside rein is my left rein. Outside rein is completely slack almost. But my left leg goes little micro vibrations on her, and I'm going to ask her to release to the pressure of my leg and my rein by a little with a little chew, or a little release in the jaw there. And then I give with both hands forward and say, here is everything. Here's the whole freedom that you would like as a horse that is responding in so many ways favorably to what I'm asking. And I'm going to do it to the other side again. Roll my shoulders back. I know that when we're focusing on the front so much, sometimes, including myself, riders have tendency to round their shoulders and look down. But I'm here. Look at this. This is so nice. There's the jaw releasing. There's the nice stretching of the neck, forward, downward again. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what I would like for her, so that we're repeating, or basically just expanding on the same message that we had on the lunge line, that I say to her, please, if I engage you with my lower legs in this case, and I have a tiny little bit of tension on my inside rein, could you please give me a little relaxing chew and release your jaw, so that you don't hold tension in your pole and in your jaw and in your whole neck. And then that could also expand to the back vertebrae. And before you know it, look at this. You have a horse that is actually experimenting with me on this new concept of happily and contently chewing, not hectic in a hectic way, but quietly enjoying that the release in the jaw travels through her whole body. And there's another video where I explain all of that with a similar case of a horse, but this is so nice right now. And she gave it to me for quite a few times in a row, so that I'm going to say, this is actually all I want from her today. I didn't think we were going to get this far even, but she's very, very sort of tentative, and then peeking through the door. Every time I open the door a little bit and say, hey, how about this? She's like, oh, okay, let me see. Maybe, oh. And this doesn't feel so bad. And this, in fact, feels better throughout my whole body. And my mantra is always stop when you are in a good place, especially when you're introducing something new. I'm going to come off of her right here. And this is never a waste of time. People are always afraid that you're not doing enough with their horses, but I can only tell you from my experience with many, many different horses where we're trying to do some kind of rehab or reset, that small steps with immediately rewarding by a release of pressure, by coming off in this case, are just so understandable for the horse and so effective. And with that, I will leave you today, and I will give a little treat to Sable. There you go, good girl. There you go. And thank you for watching, and happy riding.